What's up, everyone? We're back with another, well, I like to say a special episode of Tatum Takes, where today we're going to be discussing the top 5 debut hip hop albums of all time. Now, I'm nervous about even doing this because I feel like no matter what I put on this top 5 list, I'm not going to please everyone. And, it hurt me to my soul to narrow it down to these 5 albums. But it had to be done, so I'm going to do it today. Now, before we get into this, remember, go hit that subscribe button, comment, like, and share. That's it. Let's get into it. All right. Number 5. Somewhere is going to be the album here. Number 5. Of the top 5 debut hip-hop albums of all time, I'm going to give it to Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to them. They changed the fucking whole culture of hip hop. Rappers were rapping like, and I come downtown, then I smacked him, or some stupid shit like that. But he was rapping on with a flow, I came through the door, that it before. I never let him like that shit was dope. And I went back and listened to it recently. Cause a lot of 80s hip hop don't really hold up like now to the younger generation. It doesn't really hold up because of the way they rap, the beats, But going back to it and listening to it, it held up, and I was surprised, like going through it, like, oh, I know these lyrics, I know this song. I didn't think I would know that many songs, but I was like, oh yeah, I know this song, I know these lyrics, and so many rappers bit lyrics from this album. It's freaking insane. So with that, the way that he changed hip hop with his flow, the cover, the movie Paid in Full, I'm gonna give that number 5. All right, number 4. I feel like I'm getting shot already, and I haven't even made it through anything yet. Okay, number 4, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. I know it may be too early, but I don't think you get too many debut albums as good as that one. The story, the beats, the rhymes, the life, like a Tribe Called Quest album and shit. But that album's freaking amazing. So I had to put that on there. And it's, we need some youngness on that list. Like, it was so long. It was like a real long gap in between, like, the last great hip-hop debut and Kendrick's. Like, I can't even remember. What was the last great hip hop? I can't even remember. Like, it's so, the gap is so far in between, and what he did with that album is just, it's just crazy. So Kendrick deserves to be on this list. He's number 4. Good Kid, Mad City. If you're mad, so it's my list. All right, number 3. This is where it's like, this is where I could feel the people on there looking at this and just in anger. But number 3, Dr. Dre, The Chronic. I'm sorry. It's not many albums better than The Chronic to this day. Dr. Dre defined a whole sound of West Coast. When you think of West Coast, you hear high-pitched synths and like you hear, like if it don't have that bounce, that West Coast bounce, that P-Funk bounce, like for him to go and like go into that G-Funk bag and go into that Funkadelic bag and things of that nature and like craft it into something that became a whole coastal sound is impeccable. I know some people would say like, well, Dr. Dre was around for years before The Chronic came out with NWA. So it was no debut album. If that's the case, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City is not his first album. Section 80 is. Like, yeah. So I'm putting Dr. Dre, The Chronic, number 3 on my list. Beats to come out of the situation he came out of to make that album, and that album still holds up to date. Quality, like mixing wise, that album still holds up to date. Quality of songs. There's some songs on there that's crazy. That I don't know how to. There's some songs on there that's crazy. But Overall, I don't think you find many albums better than The Chronic, especially debut albums. I guess Dre was seasoned around this time. So, hey, and he introduced us to Snoop Dogg. So, that's number 3 on my list. All right. Number 2. This is where it gets a little crazy. For me, at least. My number 1 and number 2, I'll kind of battle with. But it is what it is at this point. Number 2. My dog wanted to see. Number 2. Nas Illmatic. I know some people mad that probably didn't make number 1. Nas Illmatic, number 2 on my list. Probably Nas' greatest album, if you ask anyone. For him to be so young and wrote that album, 16, 17, the storytelling, New York State of Mind, One Love. Man, just the rhyming on this it's so crazy. And it's so compact. Like, it's only like 10 songs on there. Like, it's Life's a Bitch. Like, you don't find many rap albums better than Illmatic. I know I've been saying that for pretty much all the songs on this list, but, it's a classic list, and they're all classic. And who on their debut album gets beats from Q-Tip, Premier, Pete Rock, Large Professor? Like, who can pull that off in a time that, back in that time, rappers would work with 1, maybe 2 producers. But to have the all-star team of everybody pushing this guy, like, this is the new Rakim. This is the new and improved. This is that real shit. This nasty Nas. Like, it was so much pressure, bro, and fucking Nas fucking knocked it out of the park and delivered. So, Illmatic, number 2, hip hop debut albums of all time. And if you haven't already, go check out my review on King's Disease. It's pretty fucking dope. All right, back to the list. Number 1. This is the one that's probably gonna get me hemmed up. But number 1 that I have on my list, I wish I had like a drum roll here, like we could put it in post. Thank you. Number 1 debut hip hop album of all time. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Yeah, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Gin and Juice was the first rap song I ever learned in my life at 3, so I know this might be biased, but I don't think nobody had the impact of Snoop when Snoop came into the game, riding off the Chronic. It seemed like Dre's a producer, so that's more like his comfort zone, I would assume. So it seemed like he gave Snoop all the attention. Like, that album probably got more attention than any Dr. Dre produced album we could think of. That Doggy Style album, well, shout out to Daz as well, but that Doggy Style album is the cover. I remember seeing the cover as a kid and like, what is this? But it looks so fucking cool. Like, Gin and Juice, Murder Was the Case, Doggy Dog World, What's My Name, Lottie Dottie remix. Like, it's the album cuts on there. This is for the G's. Like, come on, man. Like, Snoop was in the era where they were like, this album came out and they were running it over with bulldozers. Like, do you know how crazy that is? Like, think about that. Like, and looking back in hindsight, like, maybe they had reason to be like, this nigga wildin', like, going on women. But imagine all that being from your debut album and you're fucking 18, 20. Like, I don't think you get many better albums than that. And the icing on the cake of that whole thing is he freestyled majority of the album. Like, completely freestyle. Just went in there, the shiznit. Freestyle. And it holds up to this day. I could put that album on and listen to every track from Warren G knocking on Snoop Dogg's door to get him out the fucking tub to the end. So, yeah, Doggy Style. Number 1 hip-hop debut album of all time. If you don't like it, sue me. But if you disagree with me, like, feel free to comment, dislike, like, but just subscribe. And, I had a couple honorable mentions just so I won't get hurt out here. All right, I'm just going. There's no particular order of these honorable mentions. I'm just going to throw the names out there. Give Richard I Trying. That was very close. Actually, that was my number 5 until I swapped it out for Paid in Full. 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang. I mean, yeah, 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang. Ready to Die. That was it hurt me not to put Ready to Die in the top 5, but Ready to Die, of course. Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted. Sorry, Cube. And I had Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt. It was I had it in there, but I think with Reasonable Doubt is more of an underground kind of classic. So, and at the time it didn't, like, you got to. I was thinking about impact and numbers and everything was joined in commercial. Like, I was thinking of everything. So that didn't make the top 5, but definitely top 10. You got Only Built for Cuban Links, Outkast's first album. Yeah, it's a lot. And one thing I noticed about going through this list, fucking Dr. Dre hand is in majority of, like, the great debuts. You got fucking The Chronic, Doggy Style, Good Kid, Mad City, Get Rich or Die Trying, Slim Shady LP, the documentary. Like, that's like top 20 debut hip hop. Like, for him to have his hand in all that, I just thought that was fucking amazing. So my top 5 debut hip hop albums of all time: Paid in Full, Good Kid, Mad City, The Chronic, Illmatic, and my number 1, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. That's my list. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe. Life is Tatum. Yeah, and that's it. I'm Tatum. This is my take. Signing off.